Hello, in this video we'll look at partitives. Let me ask you a question first. Can you count tea or cake? Well, yes and no. You can't say 3 teas or 2 cakes unless you're talking about types or items, like 3 cups of tea or 2 slices of cake. And that's exactly where partitives come in. Today we'll explore partitives in English, how we count uncountables, group countables, and speak more naturally. We also take a look at the 3 types of partitives, and there's an important twist here. There's often overlap between them. So what is a partitive? A partitive is a word or a phrase that refers to a part of a whole, a portion, a grouping, or a unit of something. In English, partitives typically follow this structure: determiner, a partitive, of, and a noun phrase. So you have things like a piece of advice, 3 slices of pizza, a bunch of grapes. They help us count what we normally can't count, things like liquids, materials, abstract nouns, or grouped objects. So what are the 3 partitives? Let's break them down. Keep in mind though that they aren't rigid categories and there's often some overlap, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So the first category are the general partitives. These are the go-to options. They're vague, flexible, and work with many mass nouns. So for example, a bit of news, a piece of information, an item of luggage. They're like placeholders. If you're not sure of the exact word, general partitives generally come to the rescue. They also work well when teaching beginners or when learners haven't yet acquired the more specific term. The second category are the typical partitives. These are more semantically specific. They describe the shape, form, container, or physical properties of the noun, the type, so to speak. Examples include a slice of bread, a sheet of paper, a pile of books, a jar of honey. They usually form strong collocations. So you wouldn't usually say a pile of milk or a slice of water. These are typical because they're tied to what the noun actually looks like or how we interact with it. The third set of partitives are the most specialized. They're the restricted partitives. Each restricted partitive typically pairs with just one or a handful of nouns, and often only one. Examples: a rasher of bacon, a clove of garlic, a pane of glass, a bolt of cloth. They're set phrases, often learned as lexical chunks. But as I said before, there is a catch. Many partitives don't fit neatly into just one category. There's a bit of an overlap. Take a pair of, for example. It's technically a count partitive, a fairly restricted one. It refers to 2 items that are naturally or conventionally joined: a pair of shoes, a pair of scissors, a pair of trousers. But we can also say a pair of gloves, a pair of earrings, a pair of socks, a pair of ducks, possibly. I know it's a bit of a stretch. So is it restricted or general? Well, both. It's restricted in form, so it always refers to 2 or 2-ness, but its range of use can feel quite general, especially when we're being playful or metaphorical. And it's not alone. Other partitives like pile or heap and bunch can also float between categories depending on context. So you can have a pile of books, which is typical, a pile of problems, which is metaphorical and possibly general, a pile of sugar. It's a bit unusual, but I suppose it's not impossible. So rather than fixed boxes, think of these three partitive types as a spectrum, a cline from most flexible to most specific. Teaching tips, well, encourage your learners to start with general partitives, like piece, bit, or item even. Learn typical ones, grouped by characteristics, flat, round, liquid, etc. And then memorize restricted ones as collocations, so a rasher of bacon, a clove of garlic. And always let them know that when in doubt, a general partitive like bit or piece will usually work just fine. So remember, English doesn't let you say a cheese or a work, but it does let you say a chunk of cheese or a piece of work. And that's the magic of partitives. They help us count the uncountable, describe the invisible, so to speak, and serve up a slice of natural English. Anyway, thank you.